Morning everyone, and look what's out. Get in, let's get the sun going. All we need now is this all the way to October. Yes, right, got a bit of a free day today. I'm gonna get a few pond jobs done, a few jobs outside, a few jobs inside, and new feeder. So let's go in and take a look inside the filter shed and let's run you through it. So then, into the filter shed we go, and there we have it. Fitted one of the Profi feeders. We used to have the little Evolution Aqua feeder down in this corner, but with the feeding of the sinking food that I want to put the fish on this year, I didn't like the way that the Evolution Aqua feeder spread the feed over this area. I tried to make like a little chute on it so that when the pellets come out they fired straight down, and it was just a bit awkward. So we bit the bullet and got a new Profi feeder. Really impressed with it so far. Super easy to excuse me, super easy to install. A little bit different because obviously this style of feeder drips the feed down, so we've pushed the bracket up the wall a bit, because with the flow from the air bar the pellets drop and then they seem to come around and then they'll go with the flow and they'll settle on the bottom in this sort of area here, which is perfect away from the bottom drain. And well, to be perfectly honest, the pellet probably doesn't even make it past there, but if a few do make it to here, it's fine. It gives the fish plenty of time to get them. So yeah, really impressed with it so far. Like you say, really easy to install. Just put two great big roll plugs and bolts into the wall. It comes with this nice stainless steel stand. Pin the wire up, and then just put the control box under there. A little bit different the way that these feeders work. They don't actually set what time they want to feed. You just set the amount that you'd like the feeder to feed during the day, and then it works its own feeding schedule out, which is a little bit different. Took a little bit of getting my head around how that's going to work, but yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I'll just run you through now a couple of the settings and the way that it goes about things, and it'll make a lot more sense. So, these are some of the settings on the Profi feeder. Not sure if many people on YouTube have run through one of these, so I'll give you a bit of a quick glance through it. So, that figure there depicts how long the feeder runs for during the day. So at the moment that's set on 45 seconds. So the first thing you should do when you get one of these Profi feeders is actually take the hopper off, get a set of scales, get a mixing bowl, set the feeder up with some pellets in it and put it to run over the bowl. And what I did was I measured how long it took to be able to feed 100 grams. And then we can work out how much we want to feed from there. So luckily, obviously this will change with every different type of manufacturer of pellet because they're all different weights, but luckily, like I've got scribbled there, 1 minute of feeding equals 100 grams of Saki balance sinking. So that makes life super easy. So that pretty much depicts that at the moment we're feeding about 75 grams. Now we've literally only just started feeding properly. I'm only at 15 degrees, so we're going to see how that goes for 3 or 4 days, and then we're going to slowly increase this time and this figure here. So unlike most feeders on the market, these work a little bit differently. So to first go through the settings, the first thing it'll come to is set the clock. Obviously set that to the time of day, what it is, and it sorts itself out. The next setting is S. So S means at what point during the start of the day would you like the starting feeding cycle to first feed. So this depicts when the feeder first goes off in the morning. And so I've got it set at 8 o'clock. Nope, it's gone back to normal. I've got it set to start 8 o'clock. The next setting you get is end E, 4 o'clock. So what it will do is feed between 8 and 4, and the feeder sorts itself out. The next setting is F, how many feeds? 5. P, this is quite actually interesting setting. This is a percentage setting, and every day the timer, if it goes back to the 45 there in a second, every day the feeder will automatically up the percentage of food by 1%. That's what that setting is, which works out really, really well for just slowly increasing the feed. That can go between 1 and 9%. Obviously 9% a day is a big jump when you start getting into bigger numbers of feeds. So 1% increment per day, what I expect to see is that number slowly tick up, so like 46, 47, 48 during the next week or 10 days. So we've got clock, start, end, feeds 5, so that's meaning between the hours of 8 and 4 it's going to do 5 feeds and it sorts itself out. P, percentage, and then this is the last one, feeding duration. Now that sets that first figure on the front of the Profi screen. That is where you tell it how much you want to feed, and that's why you need to work out how much your food weighs to the given time of it dispensing out the feeder. So yeah, it took a little bit of getting your head round, but really, really impressed with how it's working so far. It works a little bit back to front to most feeders on the market where you set a time and set a feeding level. But yeah, I like the percentage gain on it. I like how it does that. You can give it you can give it like a manual feed by pressing both the plus and the minus button together. That'll just drip out as much feed as long as you've got your fingers pressed on the buttons. And yeah, so far I'm really, really impressed by it. I think it's a bit more visually pleasing on the pond than the EA feeder. It's out the way, I get full view of the fish, and to be honest, they don't seem very bothered by it just yet. It's up out the way, out of their line of sight, and they don't seem to have figured out just yet where the food comes from. Just the fact that it appears every now and again. So what I'll do now is I'll just press the manual feed button and you'll see how it works. So that was a quick dribble. All the feed going down. Yeah. Really, really impressed so far. So we're going to give this a good little review. We're going to see how we go with it. And yeah, hopefully this is going to be the key this year to getting some really good growth on these fish. So yeah, right, let's get some pond jobs started. So one of the jobs I'm going to get done today is I'm going to change out these white washers that I use to keep in the polycar panels. That's obviously the door section that flips up in the summer. It's just, they look a bit ugly in that. Like, I did these panels back in summer last year. I changed it out to just putting these strips of wood on with some screws in them, and it just looks way nicer. So I'm going to have a bit of a swap around and change all these white bits out because it just looks ugly. Like, it's one of them sort of jobs that I keep looking at and going, I really need to do that, because it annoys me every time I look at them. So yeah, I'll get that done, get that tidied up. Got to have a clean up of the windows inside. You can see all this green and that like on the inside. And then we might also have a clean of the roof. One of the things I do, especially at the start of the season, is try and keep the roof free from any like green like that's there, a few bits over there, just so I can maximise the UV that's trying to come in through the top, get the heat up as quick as I can in there, because it's surprising, you get the air temperature building up inside there, the water temperature soon follows. So yeah, let's get on with a few jobs and we'll go from there. There we go, that looks a lot better. Gone are the nasty white sort of spacers, and I put these nice wooden trims on now and screwed it all in. I've got these really nice little black button head screws. They seem to hold it in lovely. Yeah, looks a lot more clean, looks a lot more finished now. That does? Yeah, pretty impressed.